welcome back to my Mexican kitchen here in Switzerland. Today I have a recipe which is very traditional. It's usually made after New Year. It's the King's Day bread, and this one particularly is the one how we make it in Mexico. This is not a Mexican tradition. It's from the Middle Ages in France. That's where it started, but it's celebrated worldwide. Here in Switzerland they make the King's bread with a little king hidden inside the bread. In Mexico it has a baby Jesus. The favorite one I've had so far from the ones I've seen are the French ones, which they hide these beautiful ceramic figurines of different things. They put sets of cups, Hello Kitties, so many random things, and my favorite are the nativity sets. I have no clue how many King's breads you have to eat to manage to make a whole nativity set, but they are simply gorgeous. I'll show you guys what they look like so you see. So let's get started. Okay, so these are the figurines that you would find in the Swiss, in the Mexican, and in the French bread. This is the one we're going to be using today. It's a little baby Jesus, so we're going to hide that in our bread. This one would be the one you would find here in Switzerland. It's a little king, and if you're lucky enough to find it, you get to be the king for the day, and you wear this paper crown, which is also included in the King's bread. And my favorite are these, which are from the French bread, and they're made out of ceramic. They're simply beautiful, the details and everything, and I'm not sure how many they put in each bread. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a religious motive. It can be Hello Kitties or cups or anything, but they're very well made. They're beautiful. So let's get started with our cooking. The ingredients you need to make your dough are 14 grams of instant dry yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, half a cup of warm milk, half a kilo of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 3 eggs, 3 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, 1 orange peel grated, 125 grams of butter. Okay, so the first thing we need to do to start our dough is we need to activate our yeast. Activate isn't the correct word, but I like using it because it seems appropriate since we're making our yeast work. So what we have to do is in a bowl, we're going to pour our warm milk, the half cup of warm milk, the tablespoon of flour, tablespoon of sugar, and the instant dry yeast. And we're going to mix it. We're going to let it sit in the bowl for about 10 minutes so it activates, so it starts working. How do you know if it worked? It's going to foam up. In the beginning, it's just like all this icky, mushy water. But as the time goes by, it foams up quite a bit. And like that, you know that it's ready to be used in your dough. Our yeast has been activated. Let me show you how it's supposed to look like. It's nice and foamed up, so that's how it's supposed to look like. The next step is we're going to use our KitchenAid and mix these ingredients. So first we're going to put in our flour, our sugar, and our salt. We give it a quick whisking, and then we add the eggs and the egg yolks, and again another mix. We add our yeast, our activated yeast, another mix there. We add our vanilla, our grated orange peel, and our butter, and again we keep mixing. We're going to start forming a dough with all those ingredients. So once the dough is formed, it'll ball up and it should leave the sides of your bowl clean, almost like you washed it. It should be very clean. That's how you know your dough is ready. It's elastic and it doesn't stick to the sides of the bowl. If your dough is still very sticky, what you have to do is you have to add more flour by the spoonful. Don't add just like a lot. Add it just by spoonfuls and mix, because if you add too much, you'll ruin your dough. So just add a little bit at a time. You continue mixing until the dough is elastic and doesn't stick to the sides of your bowl anymore. is ready. In the last part of the kneading with the machine, if I see that it's not sticking so much to the sides of the bowl anymore, I like to scoop it out and finish kneading it by hand. What else? Oh, I added about, I think I already forgot, but I think it was about 8 tablespoons of flour extra because the dough was still a bit sticky. So you just add those. If you don't need to add them, then that's different for each person. The dough turns out different. I already stretched my dough. If it gets kind of stretchy and you can see through it and it doesn't break, that means that your dough is ready. So the next step is letting it rest for about 2 hours, or it could be more. We have to let it rest in a warm spot so that the dough doubles in size. So let's cover it with a wet towel, and we'll let it rest now. While our dough is rising, we can make, the King's bread is decorated with many different things. It has fruit, it has a lot of different things, but amongst it, there's also a sugar coating decoration, I guess. You make a paste with powdered sugar. I don't know if you guys have seen my concha's video. If you haven't, you should watch it. It's a really yummy bread. It's sold in Mexico in Mexican bakeries. And this one also has the same type of coating that the conchas have, so we're going to make that. The ingredients we need for the sugar decoration on our King's bread are 1/3 of a cup of butter, 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, 1 egg yolk. It's very easy to make the sugar coating for our bread. All we have to do is mix all the ingredients, the butter, the flour, the powdered sugar, the egg yolk. With our hands we make it until it turns into a like cookie dough. And then we're gonna put it in plastic film and we're gonna put it in the fridge for an hour. So our dough, it blew up, as you can see. It doubled in size, probably even more than doubled. Now we have to punch out the air, and then we're gonna put some flour on our surface and we're gonna knead it a little bit more. We're gonna roll it up into a really big log, and then we're gonna give it the shape of the ring, or yeah, it's a ring. It's a big round ring. I can't give you guys the exact size of how to make the ring or the thickness, because it depends on the size of tray you guys are using. I have a medium-sized oven, so I can't use a huge tray. These are usually quite big breads. So you guys have to calculate the size of your tray, how big your bread is gonna be, but that would be the next step. Okay, so I put the dough on the tray. It's formed into a nice big round circle. We're gonna let it rest for 1 hour, and now is the time to hide our baby Jesus inside the bread. So the way you do that is you lift up the bread, and from the underside you just shove one of the little dolls inside. In Mexico, whoever finds the baby Jesus has to make tamales on the day of the Candelaria. I'm not sure which day that is in English, but you make tamales. Depending on the size of the King's bread is how many of these little dolls you put inside. The bigger the bread, the more dolls. I'm gonna put 2 inside mine, so let's start popping these in there. Our dough rested 1 hour, it grew a bit more, so now the next step is putting an egg wash. I whisked an egg yolk and egg white, the whole egg together, and with a brush we're gonna brush it all over the bread. So now it's my favorite part of the recipe, which is the decorating. The sugar coating, I'm going to extend it and cut it into thick slices, and those I'm going to put on the bread on the places which don't look so nice. So where I attach the two ends together, or if I see something that doesn't look so nice, I'm going to use those thick slices to cover over. Another thing is, in Mexico, this is decorated with a very traditional way, certain types of fruits. One is called acitron. I'm not really sure what it is in English, but that's very hard to get. It's protected. One should avoid buying it when possible. And I don't live in Mexico. I live in Switzerland, so I can't get many of the ingredients they put on the King's bread. I'm pretty sure Mexican shops sell them. I didn't go not because I don't want to support them, but because I wanted to see what was in my local supermarket, because I know not everyone has Mexican shops in the countries they live in. So in my case, in Switzerland, I found in the supermarket candied pineapple. I found figs also, apricots. I found cherries. I found quince, jellied quince, and I found these cute little colored candy. I have no idea which fruits are in here. My German isn't so good. It looks like it's lemon and orange and lime, but these will look very nice on the bread as well. So we're going to use our imagination and decorate it. So I'm going to start rolling out the dough. I put a bit of flour on my counter and also a bit of flour on the rolling pin. You can start preheating your oven for 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 165 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the last part for the decorating is we're gonna sprinkle some sugar on top of the sugar dough we made, and also the dried fruit. We're gonna sprinkle sugar on top of that, and we're gonna put it in the oven for 25 minutes at the same temperature we were preheating, 325 Fahrenheit or 165 Celsius, and it'll be nice and golden and we can take it out. So our King's bread is done. I think it looks beautiful. It looks a bit squished, but the thing is I don't have a huge oven and we wanted to make as big a bread as we could. We don't want to we're against diets. We like eating, so we made a big bread. If you guys want yours to be like very perfect, very round, then you can always make it much tinier. I just want to wish everyone a happy Christmas, a happy New Year, and a happy King's Day. Thank you for watching our channel, watching our videos, and see you soon. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please watch the other videos. Just click on the links and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you.